compare chicken strips right now.
Oh my God.
Got about a solid 2 fingers. 1.5. How's that make you feel?
You know, listen, it's not about the size of the chicken strip. How you use it.
That's what she said.
I was kidnapped today by Nate. What's up? We're going to the back of the Dragon, and it's going to be incredible. We have both the bikes on a trailer back there. We're going to go for a ride. Someplace we've never been. I thought we should go to Route 44, but apparently everyone's sick of that. So now we're driving 7 hours on a Friday night, stay in a hotel starting at 11 p.m. to wake up at 7 a.m. thereabouts and go ride all day and then maybe a little more the next morning.
Mike, you gonna drag your knee or what?
I am going to drag my knee. Hopefully there will be some scratches on both of my knee pucks. Right now there's just on the right side. Where's Derek? Derek's got a Harley, so he can't come on these types of rides. He can ride to the place, he just can't actually ride on the roads. So we'll talk to him soon.
It's about 7:30 a.m. We're in Beckley, West Virginia. We're about to unload the bikes and go slay the dragon.
The hell's all over my bike?
What do you mean?
Grease.
Oh, that would be your windshield washer fluid that you mentioned.
Oh, that's awesome.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, we drove 500 miles.
I'm hearing the
Whenever Nate and I ride our bikes at the same speed and the same gear, we get some resonance between the exhaust that goes wah 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 wah. It's pretty crazy.
beautiful scenic overlook. No, you don't have Easy Pass, so I gotta pay for you.
It was at this point I realized that my Easy Pass was racking up the tolls while we trailered it all the way down here.
It is beautiful out here.
We made it to the Dragon. I have to admit that I was a little scared when we first got to this road. I've never ridden on roads like this before. We live in Buffalo, New York, and there's just nothing like this around here. Nate's ridden the tail of the Dragon and lived in Phoenix and is used to riding the canyons, but for me, this is something new. We often ride down to Pennsylvania, and as I said earlier on the ride here, Route 44 is my favorite. There's some sections that can resemble roads like this, but in all reality, it's not even close. There's nothing that zigzags back and forth like this up mountains that have this steep of inclines and declines. So this was pretty challenging for me.
Oh, there's a lot of gravel right in the middle there.
Right here is the back of the Dragon photographers that sit here all day, take photos of you, and you can go on their website, find the timestamp of when you rode by, and check out your photos. That's pretty cool. I had no idea that people did that. If you take a look at my phone, you can see the map up, and you can see just how twisty these roads really are. Nate and I are both new to the Streetfighter V4. We each have about just under 1,000 miles on the bikes, so we're still getting used to them. We were chatting on the ride, and we both said that for some reason this bike is taking a while to get the hang of. Nate has ridden way more bikes than I have, all different kinds of bikes, and for some reason, especially on these roads where we're going at slower speeds, it was pretty tricky around the corners. A lot of these turns are so tight that we're down in first gear. I've also been spoiled on my MV Augusta Brutale 800RR SCS. Yes, it's a long name, but the SCS stands for Smart Clutch System, and you don't have to use the clutch when you're going in and out of first. So, I'm used to that. This was a little more demanding. And to clarify, what I mean by that is the on-off throttle is just much smoother around the turns on the Ducati compared to the Streetfighter. I had to throw some 360 footage in here because it just really shows how crazy these turns are. We pulled off here at this lookout to take a look around, and it was beautiful. We actually talked to a guy here that went to the University of Buffalo, which is pretty crazy because we're both from Buffalo. It's a small world out there. After the south ride on the back of the Dragon, we stopped at this gas station in Marion, Virginia to grab our second energy drink of the day. And would you believe that they sold zip ties here? But I couldn't find tape anywhere. It was the weirdest thing. After a quick break, we headed back north up the back of the Dragon from Marion, Virginia to Tazewell, West Virginia, and hit everything in reverse. I felt a lot more comfortable hitting everything for the second time. Obviously, there's too many turns to remember all of them, but at least I had a good feeling for a lot of the areas, and I knew that there was nothing crazy that was going to throw us off the road or anything like that. The pavement was all pretty good. There was a few spots that had some gravel, but it was pretty easy to see ahead of time. And since we're new to these roads and we're new to these bikes, we weren't doing anything crazy. We weren't pushing it harder than we should. After all, we want to end the ride on two wheels, not on the ground.
A little bit of gravel on the inside of that one turn.
I have to admit, some of these blind turns were terrifying, especially hitting them going downhill compared to uphill, but thankfully I didn't push it too hard.
Ooh, careful, go slow, there's a lot of gravel in the middle there.
And as I said, there was a few spots with gravel, so definitely glad I didn't hit that one any quicker and take it any tighter.
Yeah. Couple of pieces on there too. A little bit.
All of this footage is recorded on a GoPro and a Insta360 X3. These have really wide angle lenses, so it really doesn't give you the full impression of how tight some of these turns really are. You have to see them in person. You have to come ride these roads. It's incredible.
This guy just hates motorcycles.
Although most of the drivers were pretty cool about letting you pass them, This guy was not one of them. We were behind him for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, can't get a good picture there because fucking just loop back up by him and then come back.
So of course we had to turn around and hit it again, get some nice photos. Would you believe by 5 p.m. they were already uploaded? After another gas station break in the third monster of the day, we continued up Route 16 North, which I believe is part of the head of the Dragon. At this point my GoPro battery died, well at least the battery I had in it died, so I only have 360 footage. But this section we actually liked more than the back of the Dragon. The turns were a little wider, more of like a sweeping turn. The scenery was beautiful, the pavement was flawless. And although the camera probably can't capture how perfect this pavement was, these roads on here were incredible. I really wanted to come back and hit this section and a couple other sections in the morning, but Nate wanted to get home. These next few sections opened up into 2 lanes, which gave you a little more security when hitting them harder and made for an awesome ride. And don't worry, I can keep up with him. I just needed to allow a little more space between us because he's always going slower on the turns, and after all, I came here to drag my knee. But to answer the question, no, I did not drag my knee on any of these turns, and it would be pretty stupid to try and do that. Although the pavement was nice, I feel like I could do it. This is my first time riding these roads. I'm still getting used to this bike, and if I was actually pushing it hard enough to do that, it would likely result in me ending up in the ditch, against the wall, going through a guardrail. Oh, and that's me looking down to see why my knee's not dragging. I don't think I got close. Nate said on one turn I did, but I don't believe him. As I'm recording this voiceover, I'm also in the process of building a selfie stick mount on the back of this bike, so it allows me to get the 360 camera out behind me to get some cool shots. Want to see how I do that? I'll put a link to that video up in the corner here when it's done and uploaded. Click on it and I'll show you how I made it. Overall on this day we clocked just under 250 miles, which for us really isn't that much. On many of our rides from Buffalo down to Pennsylvania, we've ridden over 450 miles. But riding on roads like this, we are constantly shifting our weight back and forth, tons of inclines, declines. It felt like we rode 500 miles. We were exhausted after this. Compared to the roads that we ride, which are pretty boring and straight until we get to the somewhat fun roads in Pennsylvania, this really took a lot out of us. On the way home, we stopped at the New River Gorge Bridge. Definitely a nice spot to check out. Coming down 178 steps. See this big chunk of 88 million pounds of steel. 876 feet above the river below. We should move here. It was beautiful. Imagine if you just had a house down there. You woke up to this every morning. We're definitely coming back soon. I'll see you in the next video. Ride safe.